everybody. I'm Lynn Petrak, Senior Editor, Progressive Grocer, and welcome to Top Women in Grocery. It's a podcast focused on the trends, topics, and interests that move women forward in grocery retail. We spotlight extraordinary women in our industry who have successful careers and interesting lives, and who also make a positive impact in their workplaces and their communities. And today I'm so pleased to be joined by Amanda Puck, Vice President of Communications and Brand Development at Rowdy's, a grocery chain in Chicagoland, Wisconsin. That's a subsidiary of Kroger. Welcome, Amanda.
Hi there, Lynn. How are
I'm
you?
good. How are you?
I'm doing great, thanks. I'm very happy to be here. I think of all the things that I've accomplished. I'm happy to say that I'm a twig. It's like so great to be able to have that. So
And we
thank
love
you.
that. And you're not just a one-time twig, Amanda. You're a two-time twig winner.
I know. I'm very, very lucky. So thank you again for having me. And yeah, it's something that makes me very proud because I love our industry.
It for sure. And just it was funny because I was just talking a little bit before. We have a little bit of a past connection. I
Yeah.
remember, and I don't remember if I was covering it for Progressive Grocer or the local newspaper I was working at the time, but you were staffing a grand opening of a Mariano's in Western Springs, Illinois,
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
and ran into you there, and you were so nice. So it's funny that a lot of us just kind of bump around this industry for a while.
Right, exactly. But yeah, we're all, leaders in this space. So we always meet up again.
Exactly, exactly. And I'm going to read a little bit more about your bio so our audience gets to know you a bit. Amanda has over 30 years of experience in culinary innovation, dynamic marketing campaigns, brand strategy, and community partnerships. She holds a Master of Professional Studies in Hotel Administrations from Cornell University. Prior to her role at Roundy's, Amanda served as Executive Vice President of XA. Did I say that right? Is it Zod?
Yep, XA. Yep, you got it.
No, the experiential agency where she effectively merged traditional and new media strategies for clients in luxury, culinary, lifestyle, and entertainment sectors. She's a two-time Emmy Award winner for hosting duties on Check Please on WTTW Channel 11. It's a beloved show featuring local restaurant reviews. I was a huge fan, watched it all the time. So that's one of your parts of your background that I just love so much because I was a huge fan of that.
I'm happy. I mean, honestly, I'm more proud of being a twig, but go ahead. Thanks.
There you go. Amanda leads partnerships with esteemed organizations such as Chicago Gourmet, the Greater Chicago Food Depository. She spearheads the development of in-store and community events that highlight the brand's quality, variety, and value. Her dedication to food, hospitality, and community shines in her efforts to make premier destination for shoppers and food enthusiasts alike. So that is fantastic. Welcome again.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, so tell us a bit, we heard about a little bit about your journey, but tell us a little bit more about kind of how you ended up in grocery and how does it reflect your love of food, kind of your lifelong exposure and love of food?
Sure. So I think if anyone had asked me 30 years ago, would I be a leader in the grocery industry? I would probably seem very doubtful, but I have to say it is the best industry to be in. And I'm so happy to be in this space. I grew up really loving foodland. My grandparents were avid cooks.
Yes.
And we had a huge garden in the backyard. So there's nothing better to me than the smell of a fresh tomato off the vine. And we made a lot of our own sauces and dishes. We pickled. So I really had great exposure at a young age to food. And then my grandma used to take me on her shopping trips. So that was the best because we would have a list and we'd hit, all the grocery stores locally where I grew up on Staten Island. But then there'd be, the delis where we had to get something special, the bread place where we had to get the right bread. And then we ended up at our favorite pasta place that handmade fresh raviolis. And I still can smell like that. It's such a distinct, delicious aroma. So whenever I do go back home, I try to visit the same places because they haven't really changed. So I think, being exposed to ingredients, fresh produce, recipes, it really kind of impacted my whole growth. And I knew I wanted to be in the food space because there's no better place to be. And I started running restaurants. I worked in San Francisco. I worked in Chicago, obviously where I am now. And the grocery door opened and I was very excited because especially with the brands like Mariano's, it was very special to me because I would walk in and there would be, baskets of delicious fresh mushrooms, but then you could also get hairspray and other necessities that you might need. So I really was quite enamored with this type of grocery experience. And that's the experience we build on today at the stores.
And I remember when Mariano's came to the market, when my particular one opened too, just to be able to work with Bob, to be able
Yes.
stores
Yeah.
were so he was such a visionary, and those stores were so different at the time too.
Right. Bob Mariano, I'm very grateful to him and Nina Mariano for bringing me on board. And that was in 2014.
Okay.
And especially the whole team, then and now is very visionary. And that's
Mhm,
what I really love about grocery. We realize that, there are some conventional things about the business, but at the end of the day, we're all about the surprise and delight that we
mhm.
bring customers when they visit the stores.
And I was just in it was funny because I was just in that exact same store not that long ago, and I was, like, wandering around like I do and was struck by really cool displays of local brands and
Yeah. Yeah.
signage of local brands, and you had posted something on your social media, I think a few weeks ago that caught my eye too about engaging and helping local brands. So, tell us a little bit more about that and maybe some success stories with that, Amanda.
Sure. So at the core, one of our core values is that we're very committed to local vendors.
Mhm,
And throughout my career at Mariano's, it's been a focus, but in 2020, it really became a bigger deal just because of the pandemic and everything we were going through. And, we all kind of grouped together senior leadership and, the merchandisers, and we said, what can we do to support the local vendors during this time? Because everyone was struggling, pivoting, changing, trying to make things work. And what we wanted to do was commit to these brands.
mhm,
So specifically, which was really great, we had this outdoor event at our store in Bronzeville because we had to do everything outside.
mhm.
And we invited all the local vendors to come to sell products. And then some of them said, hey, could we bring, there's a restaurant down the street that sells this. Can we bring them? Yes. Can we bring this person? Yes. So it ended up being this huge outdoor festival right at the smack beginning of COVID. And there was a restaurant called Two Fish, which is located in Bronzeville.
Mhm.
And she has a very popular seafood boil restaurant. It's very, everyone knows about it. Everyone visits it. It's in the heart of Bronzeville. And she decided during the pandemic she was going to make freezer bags so people could buy it and bring it home because the restaurant was closed.
Yeah.
So she had these really well marketed, branded bags that you would take home, minutes to cook. There was a sauce packet inside. So we open the door, we open, the lines, and all of a sudden 50 people start lining up to buy her frozen bags. And we're all looking like,
Exactly what we're
what is
thinking.
happening? Because I had never really met her before. And her name is Jasmine. And one of our meat manager actually ran to the store, her restaurant actually, to see what was going on. And then we brought her on as a vendor. And honestly, she's been one of our most successful. She's not only grown out of our market, but she services our stores in Wisconsin.
Mhm.
And she also services other banners of Kroger. So I think, through that time specifically, it was a big time of innovation and change. But we really try to identify these high performing brands. They support it supports the local economy, it supports the work we do in the community. But that is a particular standout moment because when people started lining up, we were just really impressed.
You knew something, and
Yeah.
people like that really and you that probably resonates with you, with food being such a passion for you, that really resonates. It's just you can see it in others, and you wanna you gotta bring and you can see it in the customers and wanna bring that to market.
Right. And then that's actually a very interesting key piece because as we get to know these, say, we have hundreds of local brands in our stores, and I'm
Mhm,
happy to say that we really know our vendors. They all have a story, whether it's a heart healthy dish or heart healthy dressing because they had a family member afflicted by heart disease, whether it's two moms whose kids have allergies and they wanted a healthy snack, so they created a snack company,
mhm,
whether it's the two brothers whose mom has this amazing jardinera recipe passed on from her mom that they put on everything. So it's really wonderful to hear these stories. We actually are going to start working with Juliana and Bill Rancic
oh,
and
yeah.
Juliana's mom on a sauce called Mama de Pondi and some other products. But hearing her story about how, her parents are from Italy and when she was growing up,
Mhm.
everyone loved her mom's sauce, and they finally now are creating it and jarring it, and it tastes exactly like you'd be in a restaurant. So it's special to hear the stories.
I love that, and when is that coming? Is that coming soon?
It's in most of the stores. I'll send some over to you.
I'll have to check that out. That's fantastic, and it's almost like when you see them come in the store and see the product on the shelf, are you ever with them when they see their product on the shelf, and what a moment that must be
Oh,
for
we cry. We take photos. We work with other organizations. We work really well with Naturally Chicago because they
Mhm.
bring us a lot of local brands.
Like group, yeah.
And there's lots of happy moments, excited.
Mhm.
Corey Ice is also a really great vendor, and they're
Mhm.
growing their footprint throughout not only Illinois and Wisconsin but other states. But to see their growth and watch them, it's very thrilling and exciting, and it is a proud moment.
And customers love it too. I mean, it's you've got the signage up in the stores, but I think consumers really like the storytelling. They like the local part of it. And do you get feedback on the shopper end as well too?
We get feedback on the shopper end. What is very meaningful to us is when we do a lot of local events in the stores.
Mm,
So, for example, during Women's Month or Black History Month, we might do a celebration of different vendors, and the customers love to come in and meet them. And it
mhm,
was funny for Women's Month because we set up, all these women vendors come in, and then some of the businesses that may not have been women owned, we're like, we want to come to you because we love supporting women, and our grandmother inspired us or our mom inspired us. So everyone really wants in on this, but the
yeah.
customers love it. The customer reaction is, they might not know what jardinera is. They might
Mhm,
not understand a product, but
mhm,
actually meeting the person who made it is
yeah.
really what makes it special. So customers really do enjoy it.
And those sampling events are great because that's right where the rubber hits the road, right? When you
Yes.
talk to
Where
them
the
about
rubber hits the road. That's the best way to say it. We call it like boots on the ground.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think in a world, in an industry where, sorry, my earbud fell out, where we're very technologically advanced and very digital,
Mhm.
the best way to sell a product is, we call it hand selling, where, I'm having you taste, my jarred sauce, and then you're going to
Yeah.
buy two jars of it because you're there in the moment.
Yeah, that's and you've got some international things too. I think the last time I was at that same store, everyone took pictures. They're probably like, "Who is this woman taking pictures?" But you have some such cool international things too. So that you're bringing in local and you're bringing in things from afar.
We're very excited mostly about innovation. What can we bring
Mhm,
in to our customers that's exciting? What's new? What's on trend?
mhm,
And these global destinations that you're talking about are, I think, very crucial to really keeping our customers excited. And
mhm,
I'll speak about we actually took an innovation trip where we saw in Europe conserva everywhere. There was tin fish everywhere. There was tin fish in small displays. There were tin fish in large displays. And
mhm,
we didn't really realize the impact of how customers would enjoy this. So
mhm.
when we came back and we were putting our plan together, our leadership was like, let's just go big. Let's go big with this because it's really interesting. Although it's been around forever, so there are some newer brands, but the packaging is incredible. Jose Andres has a line. There's
Yeah.
a line called Fish Wife.
Mhm,
There's actually a company out of Illinois called Denostia that import. They're based here, but they
mhm.
import from around the globe.
Okay.
But it's very interesting. Like when we put these displays up, there would be people coming up to me. I would be walking in a store, and they said, "Do you know who is responsible for this?" And I said, "Oh, we have a team." And they said, "Oh, these are this is the tin fish my mom used to serve me when
Oh,
I
no
was a
kidding.
kid." So
Mhm,
it's these really special stories that we
mhm.
get, but it's that innovation. How can we bring things to the stores, to the aisles, or keep customers interested?
And it's a very arresting looking display because I know exactly what you're talking about. I walked past it and I was like, "Oh, that's cool. Tin fish is trending right now." And it's clean, but it's bright. That specific display really does kind of stop shoppers in their tracks, I think.
We have a great merchandising team who does an
Yeah.
excellent job bringing these displays to life because
Mhm,
that is, we've always talked about disruption in the industry, but when you're walking to get something from the hot bar or,
mhm.
a pizza for your family, you're running into this conserva station, which will catch people's eye. And we really want to focus on the education piece as well. How can we teach consumers to use it? It's not simply open it, but how do you make a niçoise salad with some
Mhm,
of the jarred and canned tuna?
mhm.
What else? I know we're getting to my cart later. I love making linguine white clam, and I typically would use fresh clams, but now I use the Denostia canned clams because they're just aroma and the brine is so
Yeah.
perfect in the pasta. But
Mhm.
it's really teaching customers about how to use the products as well.
And that's such a great part of your role. So is that super rewarding for you just specifically in communications to be able to be the one that bridges everything? Is that that's gotta be so rewarding for you personally?
It is rewarding because we all love food. I especially love food and the education piece and getting customers to try something new or getting
Yeah.
them to try a different brand. I'm just using examples. Toronto Baking is a big baking company in
Oh,
Chicago,
wow.
and they grow with us. So for us, I have a favorite bread, and it's a joke. I love the Pane Toronto. It's this beautiful loaf of crusty bread that's sliced, and my whole family loves it. And I buy 2 loaves a week probably,
Mhm,
but it's interesting because they are also growing with us. But how do
mhm.
we communicate how to use these items to customers? I think that for us is the key piece.
Yeah.
So I made a little list for you, but we do a lot with social media because we feel
Mhm.
that's a great shared platform. that everyone can jump in on, and then we can share recipes that we have on our website.
Mhm.
We also love to do the in-store signage. I think you called that out, but how do we tell the story? The romance copy, we call it. How do we
Mhm.
tell the story about Fishwife and how her things came to be, and how to make paella? We
Mhm.
really want to tell these stories. Events,
Yes.
having people try the item is, I know you mentioned it, is the best way to get velocity and to get customer buy-in. And
Mhm.
then we also have a magazine that is
Oh, I forgot
great.
about that. Yeah.
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 So in the last issue, we focused on the Spice House, which is a local vendor, and we tied it into Mother's Day. And we said, we have so many of their spices in the store, but what can we put out there for Mother's Day? So we have these really innovative brunch recipes that a lot of I haven't ever tried. I mean, there's beautiful like strawberry
Mhm.
custard, French toast, and flavoring bacon. So we really rely on the vendors for this innovation and collaboration to
Mhm.
bring it to life.
And that magazine is great. Yeah, I remember picking copies of that up, so I'll have to get the next one. That's
And there's coupons, so you actually save money with the magazine. It's $1.99, and the proceeds go to Blessings in a Backpack, which is a great organization in Chicago. But you also get
Mhm.
a 5 off 50, so you make money, Lynn.
And yeah, I love that. I love that. And people like to feel good about that, kind of every part of their shopping journey, right? And I think
Right.
that resonates with them. And there's some other things about Mariano's that are unique to this banner in the Chicago market too. You've got the sampling events. You've also you do some pretty cool things. You mentioned Black History Month, Women's History Month. I think there's music involved, right? Do you have some musical events too in stores?
We sure do. So
Yeah.
local doesn't just mean local food vendors. We really
Hmm.
are committed to the local community. So we partner with two entertainment companies that help us support this great program called Live at Mariano's.
Hmm.
It's every Friday night from 4 to 8 at our stores that have bars, and it is a spectacular experience. I was running through our store in Lakeview on Broadway one Friday night. I was finishing a meeting, and all
Hmm.
of a sudden, I like turned my head around, and the whole bar was completely jammed.
Love it.
So we do a mix of DJs, bands.
Hmm.
Some of our bands and performers are actually Grammy Award, I should say, sorry, some of our entertainment is Grammy nominated, so
Hmm.
they're very high caliber. They're very well known in the city of Chicago.
Yeah.
I've actually worked with a bunch of them when I used to do PR for restaurants and nightclubs. So I feel like it's coming full circle now. In the grocery is cool, Lynn.
Yeah.
That's what grocery chic is what we
Oh,
go for.
grocery chic. I'm gonna totally
Grocery
borrow
chic, yeah.
that.
But we make the shopping experience fun. I think if
Mhm.
someone's shopping on a Friday night, they don't expect to see an incredible band or DJ, but it really gets them interested. It's that whole surprise and delight. And then artists, we love working with local artists. We
Mhm.
have gorgeous murals and artwork at our Bronzeville store. We have some at our West Loop store, and we keep that going. We have a bag collection that we release like twice a year that's done by a local artist named David Lee Cisco, and
Mhm.
he's very talented. So we really try to commit to the local, not just with the food piece, but also the whole environment and experience.
And that makes it truly a neighborhood. I remember is it the Halsted Street store in the West Loop?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. That's a gorgeous store. Yeah, that was where I think I did it worked in a flower making workshop or something like that. Like it's other kind of cool events that
Yes.
bring in community.
We're actually having an art event there. Speaking of art,
Mhm.
in a few weeks, we work with this gentleman named Frank Goss, and
Mhm.
he created this series called the Emerging Artist Series, and it's about upcoming Black artists. So
Mhm.
we're having a whole art show, and it's awesome. And then we have live music there as well. So he's really creating this or curating this art experience, which is really great for our customers.
And I bet you get, shoppers really into all these things from all different age demographics, right? I'm sure Gen Z loves food, they love entertaining, millennials do,
Right.
old people like Gen X like me like,
Yeah. Me too. I like
Yeah.
it too. In the last 2 years and this year too, we do a lot with the spritz, Aperol spritz,
Oh, yeah.
and it's such a draw. We work on it with Aperol and Mianetto Prosecco, and we set up these beautiful carts, and they're there and really educating people on how to make it, what's so special about it, how
Mhm.
the percentage of the recipe, and it brings such a draw. And we made them more of a destination because we bring in some of our charcuterie vendors and
Mhm.
cheese. So we make it really like a night out. Like it's a place for people to go after work.
Mhm.
And they really love learning about the products, which I find really exciting. And they also just love hanging out, which is great too.
And that's still trending even this year,
Yeah.
going into
Yeah.
another summer here
We have
here
a new drink for you this year, though, Lynn. We're gonna
Okay.
uh, we're, we're gonna do a launch event. I'll make sure I invite you. The paper plane.
Okay.
It's a classic cocktail. And I will
A
say
la bees
before we go ahead.
kind of like bees knees or something like
Like bee's knees, I
yeah.
think, and it's made with Amaro Nonino, which is a very special Amaro, and
Okay.
it's from the Nonino family in Italy. And one of the daughters is actually going to be here in June, and we're going to have a huge. We're calling it "Get on Board the Paper Plane,"
Love it.
and then we're going to do that same sort of event where we're introducing the cocktail, how to make it, how to bring in
Mhm,
food. But this is what the community likes because they get to
mhm.
come in and really meet people, experience things, ask questions, take pictures. It's a lot of fun for us.
That is a lot of fun, and that again, that kinda shows the difference in your job. You don't really have a typical day.
No, I don't have a typical day, but I like that about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you have people I mean, you mentioned your grandparents, do you have people that shaped you, kind of that you bring into your everyday job that is maybe not so typical, but people who mentored you?
Sure. I think currently the leadership team that we have in place, especially our division president, Michael Marks, he's really a great leader and
Mhm,
he really lets all of us really grow and create and be very innovative. No idea is ever a bad idea.
mhm,
He's very inclusive and having us all make decisions. And I think that kind of approach is he's there when I think all of the leadership is there when you need them to be, but they really trust you to help figure things out. And I love to take that. And I have two incredible team members. Their names are
mhm,
Lucy and Nieli, and they bring everything to life in the stores. And they are I enjoy working with them, but I love mentoring them because they want to learn, they want to be better, we want to figure things out together, we want
mhm.
to be more efficient. So I think every day is a learning curve,
Yeah.
and we all love that our days aren't typical because even our division president and our vice presidents, we're always out in the field,
Mhm,
in stores, really working with the associates. The associates also, I really feel like leadership, even if you're not directly someone doesn't directly report to you, how are you leading with a positive image or a positive, exciting, how are you leading with change?
mhm.
So it's very exciting to be out in the field. I think I wouldn't have it any other way.
And groceries evolving, and you're right there at the leading edge of it, for sure, for sure.
We It's what keeps us going. I mean, we like to try stuff. We like to not just the food piece, but we have obviously a wine program that we're trying to really
Mhm,
incorporate more global varietals in, and trying we of course we have that the higher 90 point wines, but there's great wines from Austria, Germany, France,
mhm,
Italy that are under $20 a bottle that are great for parties and our customers during the summertime and
mhm.
entertaining. So we're really trying to bring that into scope too, so that it's a lot of different offerings that customers can learn about.
Yeah, you're probably already planning for holiday because here
We're right now we're working on 4th of July,
okay,
so
okay.
yeah,
Little bit ahead of
we don't get
yourself.
that far. We are planning a little bit towards the end of the year, but
Okay.
yeah, we like to get ahead of it because we have something every weekend pretty much in the
Mhm.
stores. It keeps us really busy. This weekend, we're actually going to be in Green Bay because we're
Okay.
having an associate thank you and a customer appreciation event for the draft was last weekend there. So there was
Yeah.
a
Oh,
lot of
yeah,
excitement
yeah.
in Green Bay. And so this weekend, we're all going out. All of us are going. My team, even just to kind of help organize and celebrate. And we have some
Mhm.
of the Packers there as well. So it'll be a great
That
event.
was
We're
such a
always
great
out there.
event. Yeah, that was a huge event, and Rondi's was yeah, that got so much great publicity, so how
It,
fun for that.
it did, yeah, and it looked. I think it was the first time I've ever watched the draft,
Yeah,
but it was great to see. And Leroy Butler, who it was one, he actually represents us as a brand ambassador. It was great to see him in action too.
fantastic. That's exciting. So again, never dull.
It's never dull, that's for sure.
Never dull. And
Yeah.
finally, we ask this of every guest, and I cannot wait to hear what's in your cart, Amanda. So what are some things that are in your shopping cart, maybe, usually, or some things that might be in there seasonally right now?
Not to pick like a easy item, but I cannot live my life without Chobani non-fat yogurt. I put it in every single thing. It's my Weight Watcher trick that I use it for dips and salad dressings,
Mhm,
and my dog even loves it. I make him little Chobani blueberry ice pops that he has every night, and so that's like my go-to must. And I mentioned the Pane Toronto bread.
yeah.
I love to cook meals like in advance because we're so busy,
Mhm,
and my husband and my mom is here a lot, so we have a lot of in and out. I'm
mhm.
known for my meatball recipe. I make two. I make a very delicious. I make three actually. I make a very delicious like basic beef pork veal
Yeah, I was
meatball.
gonna say, you gotta have the trio of
Trio's got to be
ingredients.
in
Oh,
there.
yeah.
I also make Italian sausage meatballs because we're learning we like those, and then I make turkey parmesan meatballs.
Oh,
And to make it easy, So I mix a little red sauce and shredded mozzarella into the meat
Mhm.
mix that, with the breadcrumbs and the egg and the parsley and all that. But then
Yeah.
I bake it I fry them and then I bake them in the oven and I use jarred sauces that I stock up on. I love Trovato Kitchen. I love Tony Priolo's
Oh,
Piccolo
I
Sonio
love Tony
sauce.
Grillos. Yeah.
Oh, his pastas, and that's another thing that I really try to stock up on. Are his
Mhm.
pastas are bronze dyed, made in Italy, totally incredible. And that's another thing we love. Sorry, I get excited.
No, I know
We
what
love
you mean because
teaching
I was
customers about that pasta, like how how the rough exterior, how the extrusion process creates that
it's a
it,
cling.
a cling for the sauce.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I stack up on all those pastas. We're very Italian driven here at my house because it's just easy. But we have like tons of meatballs all the time, and then the
Yeah.
sauces. So it's a lot of fun for me.
And they reheat so well. That's so funny because up in my freezer,
Yeah.
it's like I have, like, the little freezer sealed bags that
Hmm.
we do with the leftovers, make them on Sunday, and we throw them in the freezer.
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
We have them in the house all the time. I'll probably eat some when we get off the phone.
There you
So
go. There you go. Well, this was fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us. We're so honored to have a two-time Twig winner and to talk to you. So it was just great. I've been wanting this to happen, so I'm so glad we finally did.
me too. And Lynn, I really want to thank Progressive Grocer for always leading with great stories, innovation, highlighting the best in our industry where we all can learn and grow. So thank you for all the support that you give the grocers.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, and we'll connect at one of those summertime events. I cannot wait to
Yeah.
go to
You're
one.
always on the list. I'll make sure.
Thank you. And if you have an idea for a Twig podcast, we want to hear from you. So feel free to reach out to me at lptrack@ensembleiq.com. See you next time. Thanks for listening.